What villain was terrifying because they were right? Magneto is my favorite villain of all time. Every time his motives are brought to light I get that yeah, I kinda get it moment. None of you said the most terrifying one. Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls. He wanted to bring free energy and advanced technology to the people. And in one episode he actually did. He made the world an amazing place. And then the Powerpuff Girls ruined it all. Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace. Stevie from Wizards of Waverly Place. Her entire goal was to stop families from giving up their magic to just one person in the family. Like we're really supposed to be rooting against her? It just seemed super out of character for Alex to go against that plan. Edit, thanks for all the upvotes. I got to experience seeing something I put on Reddit appear on my FYP on TikTok for the first time. See also, Magneto, the Holocaust survivor, not wanting his species genocide. Red Queen Resident Evil, I have locked down this facility to prevent a world-ending virus, please could you good guys pay attention and not blow holes in the doors. Ken from the Bee Movie. I too would go absolutely berserk if a talking bee stole my girlfriend and gaslit me into thinking I was crazy. Count Dooku just straight up told Obi-Wan that the Sith control the Senate. Arya's parents on Pretty Little Liars. They're villainized for not letting their high school daughter date her teacher. The Bears from Goldilocks and the Tree Bears. General Hummel from The Rock. The Hamburglar was just trying to save children from childhood obesity. GLaDOS, she was absolutely right, you are a terrible person. Colonel Kurtz. We train young men to drop fire on people, but their commanders won't allow them to write fuck on their airplanes because it's obscene. I wasn't really terrified of it, but N was right in my opinion when we're talking Pokémon. Dude thought getting these creatures and making them fight till one is knocked out wasn't that amazing of an idea, and it just made sense to kid me. That all said, I think N is a really interesting character that can be interpreted in many different ways. Of all the main leaders of these games, I think N had the best argument. It wasn't perfect though. I like N a lot for his character development. I agree with him at the end. Real Pokémon mistreatment should not be tolerated. But a Pokémon trainer simply using Pokémon in battles does not qualify as mistreatment, as the Pokémon is happy. The Pokémon like the trainers, that is the best you should wish for there. All in all, I wish Pokémon had good stories and characters like this again tbh. What is something NSFW you've done but if you told anyone they would probably never want to talk to you again? I had an orgasm while running away from an angry chihuahua when I was 8 years old. No ejaculating, just the sensation. I spent the rest of that summer trying to get that chihuahua to chase me. I had to laugh so hard that I peed in an elevator because I couldn't hold my laughter. There was a stranger with me going 20 floors up, the entire elevator was full of piss. I was 12. I wanked on a rooftop with a thrill that someone might come upstairs, luckily no one came. But I was caught on CCTV. At 16 I stole a fleshlight from a local sex store, then drove off not being able to wait to use it. I used it while driving and actually finished, but post-nut clarity set in. I threw it out the window into what I thought was some woods, but I looked last second to have an image burned into my mind. The image of a used fleshlight exploding onto a gravestone from a cemetery at 45 miles per hour reality set in then. Between the ages of 12 to 16 I used a hand puppet cow to jack off. I ended up needing it to ejaculate. I named it Mr. Cum Cums. I don't have answers for any questions regarding the name. Anyway, one day I went to use Mr. CC and he was nowhere to be found. To this day, almost 20 years later, I still wonder of his whereabouts. Maybe in my parents' attic with my childhood toys, maybe deep in a landfill. Or the poor thing came to life like Toy Story and finally made its great escape. I started learning the pleasures of masturbation by giving myself wedgies. I remember going to school with my underwear laced through my bra, kinda giving me a permanent wedgie throughout the day. I also remember trying to give myself hanging wedgies in my closet, but my bedroom door didn't lock, so I almost got caught multiple times. Edit, geez guys, one of my most upvoted comments, and it's about a fucking wedgie fetish I used to have. I had to go bad, and felt my inner colon paining. I ran into the supply room and shit in a box. It was horrible, smelled so pungent too. I dumped a bunch of random stuff inside and taped the box closed and carried it out, like I was getting needed supplies. I'm a 45-year-old man. I live in a co-op apartment building in New York City. I worked on a building beautification project with a fellow resident about 6 months ago. I'm guessing she's about 30 years my senior. All during the project we shared a lot of laughs and formed a comfortable friendship. At the end of the project, she invited me to her apartment for dinner. We shared some great conversation and a lot of wine. At some point while I was talking, she put her hand over mine which I was resting on the table. She leaned in for a kiss and I reciprocated. We had sex that night. It was good sex too. A week or so later she called me up and asked if I could change a light bulb in her ceiling. It was a pretext for us to have sex again. Since then, we've established a relationship where she texts me requesting some help, I go over to her place and we have sex. If I told anyone in my life that I'm having a sexual relationship with a woman in her mid-70s, I'm not sure what the reaction would be. I think they'd think I've lost my mind. I cut a hole in my mattress when I was a kid and tried to fuck it. Hit the bed springs on the first stroke. Early 80s had a 6th grade teacher that was physically, emotionally, and verbally abusive. She would make us go get glasses of water for her during class. When it was my turn I would get water out of the toilet and spit in it. Considering I was a very shy quiet kid still surprises me I did it. One hot sweaty day at the shop I used the blue chalk for the snap line to powder me balls. Couldn't take the sticking anymore. Now my most upvoted comment. Couple answers. Yes it worked. Being a white guy my junk looked a lot like a Smurf though. Normally I'm a gold bond guy, but my work bottle was out. I have to wear full FR, it was about 98 F and matching humidity. There is no A/C in the shop. Would def do it again. Peed on some random dude for money. Not me but my ex-GF shoved a curling iron up her cooch and didn't clean it. Ever. She told me her sister used it the next day. Glad I broke up with her I should have seen the signs. Had an ex-boyfriend who liked it when I used my Minnesotan accent in bed did it a few times and now the thought of it makes me shudder. Removed. What discontinued thing do you really want brought back? Paying once for work software, like Microsoft Word or Adobe PDF, and actually owning it thereafter without having to pay a monthly subscription fee. Physical video game manuals or magazines, they were so fucking cool before and then they decided to just stop doing them. Deep fried McDonald's apple pie. The one from the 1980s to 1990s. The one that was crispy and the temperature of molten plutonium inside. That shit was the best. Getting a poster that is a map of the game world with the purchase of a game. The Philadelphia cheesecake bars. I loved the strawberry ones, I can't remember if there were other flavors. Surprises in the cereal boxes. Not the enter 2 codes inside on our website bull. Actual, physical things in a package floating somewhere in that box of Cheerios. The dislike option on YouTube. Borders bookstores. Old Cartoon Network. Jelly jar juice glasses. In the 1980s and maybe early 90s, my family acquired a few sets, Dinosaurs and Tom and Jerry. They were the perfect size for kids to use and the different designs helped us keep track of whose were whose. Mine was the pterodactyl. I don't know why they stopped being made. Seems like Pac-Man and Star Wars would be great SEO branding opportunities. Edit, apparently I'm not the only one. Let's start a letter writing campaign to Welch's. Old school Pizza Hut. ThinkGeek.com before GameStop. The soap elixir drink, I miss my lizard juice so much. In my state it is impossible to find if they are still selling it. The Incredible Crash Dummies toys and cartoon. The Real Dollar menu at Mickey D's.